Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Afton and I'm Monty's Tarot Child. Here on my channel I do pick a card readings like the one we have here today and readings for the collective, which will all mostly be hosted on my Patreon. I will leave the link down below where you can support me monthly and have access to early access and exclusive content like this one. So today we have 4 piles. We are looking into May 2021 for you, what's going to happen during the month, the energy that is around you, giving you a forelook into what May has to offer for you. So if you'd like to take a moment and choose between these 4 piles, close your eyes and meditate and seek out the one that holds the most authentic truth for you. And let's get right into the reading. Hello, pile number 1. You chose this beautiful rose quartz crystal. Let's get right into what the month of May looks like for you. And the overall energy that we have here for May is loneliness. I know that I am never alone. Okay, so this is a very strong energy to start off with. Pile number 1. I think there is a lot around loneliness that you will be combating in the month of May, knowing that you are not alone. I think there's this saying, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And I think that's really going to be standing out to you in the month of May because you may be enjoying more of your alone time in the month of May. You may not have been enjoying it thus far. Really trying to do any and almost everything to distract the feeling of just being by yourself. And a lot of different distractions in general, but one thing that you will be focusing on is your emotional state and how it is connected to your loneliness or feelings of being alone. You may also be doing different activities to, and not in a more so distracting sense, more so in a spending time with yourself, nurturing activities, things that will open you up to your more emotional state, and how you can heal that. Let's see what else we have. We have passion, and the herb or the vegetable beetroot. So it's really interesting that we have passion and loneliness coming out as two, what's the word? Not polar opposites, but because you can also be very passionate about your alone time as well. But I think there's a deeper level that you're tapping into here. And I think it can only come through you being alone. You may be learning more about what your passions are, what makes you passionate. You may be in this alone time, not only discovering the things that make you passionate, but diving deeper into them, exploring them more, experiencing more of what you feel most passionate about. The number 7 here is sticking out to me. Recently, I've learned that the number 7 is a very spiritual number. So you may be spending more alone time to touch in with spirit more, to listen to those downloads that have been trying to reach you, and instead you've been distracting yourself. We have Leo here as the zodiac element as well, so you could be a Leo or know a Leo, but it is really, I'm hearing, time to give yourself attention. Spirit may be moving people out of your space more so divinely, of course, just so that you can have nothing but you to focus on. Let's see what else we have. We have wisdom, and I believe this is a bay leaf, but I think so. Yeah, actually it's a bay leaf. And again, the Leo sign up here in the corner. So wisdom, a lot of this time, as I said, is for you to learn yourself, to know yourself, to know how you are just by yourself with no one else around to really, I'm going to say it, distract you, right? People, when their paths aren't necessarily aligned with yours, can tend to become a distraction. So Again, if Spirit has, in the month of May, remove certain relationships, and not even like you don't speak to the person anymore, but speaking less frequently, or just having more time not communicating with other people, that there's a divine reason behind it. You're not being isolated. You are not meant to feel alone, or even, I'm hearing, misunderstood. This divine time to yourself, for yourself, is to teach you something. And we also have victory. Wow. So 22 and 44, those are divine numbers as well. We have Aries here. And the flower is, I'm going to probably butcher it, nasturtium. That's my guess. And that's my last guess, the final. So we'll put that right down here. Victory. Experience victory over this loneliness, over these circumstances, over your feelings is what I'm hearing. Did I mention the Aries that is standing out here in the card? We also have the elements fire, earth, and water, or air. This is air, I believe. But you, in the month of May, are going to be victorious. It's going to feel like possibly a long process. Going from 22 to 44, I feel like it's like a doubling up of time for you, where you will spend most of the month with yourself. And of course, with COVID going on and all of those other restrictions, you may already have lessened your outside influence and, being around a lot of people. But I do feel like, if that has been taking a toll on you, or you feel like you haven't really gained anything from being, more secluded, then in the month of May, you're going to be feeling more victorious over those feelings. We also have loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. Okay, so I believe this plays along with what we were talking about earlier, with the coping mechanisms and how that, sometimes can be used as a distraction. It could also be used, as a controlling mechanism as well, trying to control how the outcome, or how you assume the outcome is that you want it to be. You can be very passionate about things, and sometimes your grip becomes tighter when really it's supposed to be loosening and allowing Spirit, God, to work in your life. You can, again, be very passionate about something without holding so tightly onto it, allowing it to flourish, nourishing yourself with wisdom, divine wisdom, and knowing that whatever process that you're going through right now, however isolated it may be, things in the background are moving for you to have this sense of freedom and victory. We also have, defenselessness, riding past wrongs, uprooting. Okay. So in the month of May, there also may be some righting of past wrongs, some uprootings of what you know, especially with the wisdom here. It's almost as if you needed certain knowledge in the month of May in order to not necessarily just apologize to someone else, but also an apology to yourself, because you, sorry, Palawan, I had to move some things around just because of noise, but I hope that this ankle still works for us. But I was saying that this is not only an apology, or an I'm sorry for, all of the things that you have to write within yourself around other people, but this is also an I'm sorry for yourself, of saying, I'm sorry that I've, been distracting myself from what really needs to be healed. I'm sorry that I haven't, given in to my passions or allowed divine wisdom to lead me where I need to be. I'm ready now. I'm ready to see this opportunity as something more than just a challenge that would be difficult or too difficult to overcome, but also just you're opening up yourself more. I feel like this is a very spiritual pile. where you are really trying to gain spiritual knowledge and spiritual wisdom, trying to release your grip on the hold of things and really open up to your own emotions. But we also have trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. Okay. So in May, this is going to be a very important message for you to, especially in the process of releasing or loosening your grip, just to understand that you are not behind on anything. Time is not running out. You are divinely where you are supposed to be right now. Again, we're talking about feeling alone versus feeling lonely, and knowing that you are never truly alone or by yourself, but that spirit is here wanting you to open up to the idea that something actually phenomenal, really phenomenal is happening right now. And it doesn't look like it to you, maybe, possibly in the month of May, but May, I think, is going to very much so be a turning point for you within your mental state, most of all. Let's see what else we have. The Cosmic Heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Spirit wants you to really look at your life in the month of May and understand that if you feel there's a lack of movement, it is only because there's something that you aren't seeing just yet. There's a perspective that needs a refreshing. I think also there's a deeper level of devotion that you are practicing in the month of May. Again, your spiritual practice is going to be very important to you. I think it's going to be the thing that you feel comfortable, the most comfortable leaning into in these times of being alone. And you're going to come out feeling very refreshed with a new perspective, not with a new heart, because your heart is pure. Your heart is the same heart that you were born with. There are just lessons and unlearning of things that need to happen. And May is going to be a very big month for the beginning of that. So looking into the tarot, we also have, I believe this is the Page of Swords. Let's see. Yes, it's the Page of Swords. So, and this is the vice versa tarot. It has two sides to every card. And this is the back perspective of the Page of Swords. We always see this person admiring a sword and really giving off a youthful curiosity to this item. Of course, the swords in tarot are known for correlating with your mental state or your mental space. So, of course, you in the month of May are going to be feeling very curious about your mental state, about how it affects you emotionally, and how you can lean more into working with your mind instead of having it work against you. So the Page of Swords here is saying, look at the journey you have ahead of you. You are a striking person who has overcome a lot, who's come from an even longer journey than the one that is being described to you now. And you know this to be authentically true, right? And you are prepared to learn more about your mental landscape, how thoughts pop up into your mind and what you do with them. Honestly, how you integrate them into your life, whether it's something that needs to be or something that needs to be released. For the next tarot card, we have, I believe this is the Emperor. Yeah, the Emperor. And of course, again, vice versa tarot, this is the back of the Emperor's throne. We have a few elements here, like the sun being present with the fire and the moon correlating. And I believe this is concrete that they describe in the guidebook, but I'm not 100% sure. So again, the Emperor is known for standing firm, for taking action, for being very passionate and authoritative. This is also, again, the Aries energy showing up here. So a lot of fire energy, You could have a lot of fire signs within your natal chart or know someone that does. And I believe this is your energy, honestly, though, really stepping up to the plate for yourself and, taking in what you need, doing more of what you know you need. We also have the Three of Wands. So in May, there may be something that you're contemplating moving on or taking action on, especially with the Knights, or no, that is the Page, but with the Emperor here, you not necessarily enjoy taking action, but you are a very forward moving person. You always want to find an environment where you most can thrive in. And I feel like in the month of May, you're doing some of that. You're looking around you and seeing which environments suit your mental and emotional state best, where you feel you are looking at the environments around you where you feel most mentally and emotionally supported and safe. And I think in May, you may be successful in finding certain environments that do suit you. But again, we also have to remind ourselves that we evolve a lot in time. So what suits you right now in the moment of watching this video may not suit you 3 months from now, or 6 months from now, or 3 weeks from now. It all depends upon you, but you have this explorative energy to you where you really don't settle. You don't settle. You always fight for the highest authority in situations because you know that you are a natural leader, very good at it and very passionate about leading. We also have Justice. Yes, with the scales here. So in the month of May, there is a lot of things that are balancing out who you were and what was just to you, 3 months ago, what you felt was right and equal and, righting past wrongs. This is definitely the defenselessness, righting past wrongs, uprooting. Something being uprooted and being rebalanced. Again, I'm sensing heavy mental clarity here, like being mentally clear about your decisions, feeling very right about your decisions. Not saying that you are always right, but intuitively knowing that if you do respond with an answer, you trust in it. Or if you get a bit of information, that you know intuitively when to trust, when to look deeper, when to know more. In the month of May, I feel like you are really channeling this energy, trying to bring the energy of the Justice card into all decisions that you make, actually being very passionate about balance and wanting things to be equal and honest for everyone is what I'm hearing. And we also have Nine of Swords. So there's something that you will be facing in the month of May. Again, it could be around your mental conflict, something that you felt like you weren't receiving answers to, were keeping you up at night, possibly, not necessarily though. That is different for everyone. But something that is crowding up space within your mind is being cleared out in the month of May. It will be a process, especially with, a few of the back and forth here. You have the Page of Swords, also with the Justice here, and now the Nine of Swords. It's a bit of a process, one that will feel very good after you allow the divine spirit to balance things out for you and put things in a different perspective for you is also what I'm hearing. And you have Temperance, of course. So harmonious energy, very harmonious energy in the month of May. And if this is resonating with you right now, then you already know that this has been a long journey for you. You already know that there are certain things that you've been trying to keep your eye out for to see, basically confirmation that what you are working towards, what you are doing currently is really working for you. And I think in May, you will be affirmed and confirmed that what you're doing, you can trust to keep doing. You can trust to keep looking and checking in with yourself mentally, emotionally, and really trying to express more of you to you. I feel like in our social media era, we try to express ourselves and our true thoughts and feelings to other people because we want to be understood. We all want to be understood. But when we start to do it with ourselves and just openly and honestly communicating with ourselves, we then learn and understand, oh, I can now share this with other people. Once I'm in harmony, everything around me is in harmony. And that is where May is going to be taking you. I'm trying to make sure there isn't anything else energetically. Also, you could be facing a promotion with the Emperor card here in the month of May. A promotion, or with the Three of Wands here, moving away from almost anything. I haven't really gotten the financial side of this reading, but that may be picking up last for someone else. Three of Wands, you may be moving from one certain financial area to another in order to assume a higher level of authority and balance in your work life as well. I'm trying to make sure. And of course, with that process, of course, loosening your grip is important as well. If you want a certain career or a certain job, try to map out what that looks like for you, but not too specifically where you are disappointed by the outcome because you thought it would be more specific. Be broad and specific at the same time is really difficult to explain, but it's like, talk about what this new position of power feels like, who you are able to impact, not so much as what you're making or where you're living. But allow spirit to guide you in that process as well, if that was for anyone specifically. And I'm now also going to look into the astrological energy that will be around you in the month of May. And the first card that popped out, we have is Cancer. Nurture, comfort, and protection. So this is definitely going to be a very nurturing time for you in the month of May. I'm telling you, it may seem like a lot of mental conflict at the beginning of it all, just because there's thoughts that you may still need to get through, may still have been trying to hide behind in any kind of sense. You also may have Cancer in your chart or know a Cancer with Cancerian placements. But again, nurturing, comfort, and protection. This is going to be a very protective time for you, no matter where you find yourself stepping out of certain situations and into new ones. We also have Gemini, curiosity, intellect, and networking. So I definitely sensed your curiosity at the beginning of the reading, pile number one. A very curious creature you are. And again, that's going to take you to a lot of different places that I don't think even you were expecting. So allow that curious nature of yours to flourish. Allow it to help you to network and gain certain intellect that I feel like you've also been wanting. In the month of May, with this time to yourself, you can shape your intellect in any way that you see fit, however you want, whatever feels most comfortable to you. So if you want to learn a new language, if you want to learn a new type of culture and like how they live life in a different culture, all of these different things that you can give more time to and let those inner knowledge and workings form you into the person that you continuously want to evolve into being. And we also have Chiron, hurt and heal. Again, there are some massive wounds, emotional, mental wounds that you are addressing in the month of May. It's actually very interesting that I chose the rose quartz as your crystal because it's a really nurturing and healing crystal. It actually aids in you strengthening your self-love, actually being able to talk to yourself and nurture and nourish yourself. I think holding on to this crystal while meditating or while doing any kind of release rituals for emotional stability and emotional maturity, I think rose quartz would definitely be a great crystal for you to grab a piece of and to really work with in the month of May, and for however else long that you feel like you energetically need it. So pile number one, thank you for coming all this way in your reading. I hope that you enjoyed. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because it would mean the world to me. And check out my Patreon for more exclusive content like the videos we have here today. And I will see you in another video. Peace. Hello, pile number two. You chose this beautiful tiger's eye crystal. So let us get into what your month of May is going to look like. We have the first card, the first theme of the month, and it is guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Wow. Wow. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. So clearly, May is definitely going to be a powerful and impactful month for you. You are going to be addressing all of those feelings around guilt, around feeling as if your soul cannot grow without, I'm hearing confirmation from others, but please take what resonates. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. I'm sorry I had to read it 3 times apparently because it is actually really standing out to me that this happens to be the theme of your month. I'm very curious to see actually what these other cards here have to say. We have transition, cauliflower. Okay, so especially with this number 11 here, there is a transition that is occurring in the month of May for you. It is going to be a transition that brings strong emotions to you. Not things that will put you out of character or in a mindset that is, you're not able to come out of, but you are releasing in order to gain in the month of May, especially with the Cancer here and the Moon, some hidden emotions around why this transition may be so hard for you. Again, it could revolve around feelings of guilt and not necessarily wanting to leave in order to achieve more, because that is the point. That is the purpose of moving away from things, is to always achieve and to experience better and more. So when we look at it differently, at the experience that we are leaving, when we look at it differently and we say, I can't feel guilty for my well-being. I can't feel guilty for taking myself seriously, taking my health, taking my mental state seriously. I cannot allow others to make me feel guilty for this either. It goes both ways. We also have duality, banana. Okay, so there's a duality to the situation here. It may be one that is hard to actually leave from. You may actually enjoy being where you are currently, but you are sensing that there is an opportunity or a moment for your soul to grow even more somewhere else. Again, that can make the duality of the situation can make it much harder to leave or transition, because there could be no hard feelings whatsoever. There could be complete amicable response, but that doesn't mean that you feel any less torn up about it. It also could be because of childhood things that you are discovering why it is so difficult for you to make this transition. You could be feeling guilty about how you were taught to stay in a situation as long as possible, to extend yourself or overextend yourself for a situation for the betterment of others. Again, there's a lot of things to unpack here. we're going to go further in, but those are just the energies that I'm tapping in right now. We also have productivity, pumpkin, again with Cancer and the moon. So you could have heavy water in your chart, specifically Cancer energy. What else am I seeing here, Spirit? Especially with the orange here, your sacral chakra is really being highlighted. Sacral, what's the other one? Give me 1 second. And solar. Sacral and solar plexus are being highlighted here. You are feeling a lot more productive in the month of May, especially when you allow this transition to happen. You accept all dualities, all perspectives of the situation while still taking your best interest at hand. You are going to find a spike in productivity when you are able to release the negativity and to really move forward in confidence, knowing that I am doing this for a higher purpose. We also have Breath of the Cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So there was something similar to this card that came out for pile number 1 as well. And I feel like we are all going through huge transitions in life. And we kind of want to see it when we want to see it. I completely understand this feeling, because even when you are moving physically from one space to another, like homes, you know usually where you're going to move into next. And so now you are in this in-between place where you're in one space, knowing that you're moving to another, knowing that that other place is potentially exponentially better than where you are currently, but still in the process of tidying up, cleaning up, packing, etc., etc. So really trying not to zoom in and look at every specific detail, I feel like is going to be helpful for you in the month of May. Some of you actually may be physically moving because of that scenario that I just gave, but it doesn't have to be, of course. My will to thy will. It is the universe's will to have us all in a space of health, wealth, and happiness. I think we all are here to experience an abundance of happiness, an abundance of nurturing experiences, but there's this level or layer, it's like a thin layer of guilt here that has really made you sensitive. I feel like sensitive to the situation where you know that letting go is what's best, especially here with the scissors that are standing out to me, cutting certain things off and just letting spirit handle it. Some things is just too energetically big for us to even handle or worry about. It's not for us to handle or worry about. So letting spirit really come in the month of May and work its, divine miracles in your life is going to be huge. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Okay. So I feel like this is playing a part in the guilt as well. Let's see if we can move these over just a bit. I feel like you're not for everyone is playing into this guilt card as well. It's like the guilt is a central theme that you are really working through. And a part of that is also learning that you are not for everyone. Not everyone is here for you. Not everyone will understand what you're trying to produce, create, or be in this world. That's okay. I think us understanding that we are not for everyone actually helps us move more confidently, actually helps us move without fear of judgment or fear that what you are producing isn't enough. It doesn't matter because it's enough for you. Let's see what else we have. You're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. So literally, I think and if you are drawn to pile number 1, I don't normally do this, but I would highly suggest that you look at it as well. If you feel called to, of course, but we're all in this, moments of isolation, especially again with COVID, as I was saying in pile number one, we have drawn more inwardly. We are listening. We're hearing a call to say, again, I don't have to be for everyone. I actually like being by myself. I actually like producing by myself and then sharing it with the world that way. I feel like we are all really getting comfortable with just being in ourselves and with ourselves. And that is you embracing your weirdness. That's you releasing guilt and saying, I can't physically actually be for everyone anyway. So why am I trying to do that spiritually? Why am I trying to do that energetically? I know I'm not alone. I know that the ones who are really here for me are really here for me. And the things that I'm transitioning from are for a reason. Again, either friendships, relationships, or jobs alike. Whatever it is that you feel like doesn't hold space for you, but is asking you to hold more space within yourself for them, it can be disconnected, removed, revamped, just giving it a different name, a different face, a different type of energy. You know how you feel like when you are moving away from something, you can physically feel your energy shifting. Like your energy will tell you, I'm really not feeling being here, so let's lessen that a bit. That is it speaking to you for a reason. And I think in the month of May, it's really going to be guiding you again to exactly where you need to be. So we also have the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. I don't remember if I used that word, but this is going to be heavy energy for you in the month of May. You are integrating, you are activating, you are, again, this productivity here is really sparking a light within you. You are naturally sharing with others about this awakening, as well as what I'm hearing. Like, you're not shy to tell people, oh yeah, I'm spiritually awakened. And the people who are like, what? Oh, I know where you belong now, energetically. Thank you for making yourself known. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to worry. You don't have to stress. You are not for everyone. The universe has more than enough space to hold you, has more than enough time to understand you, gives you love and understanding. Everyone else, if you're not with it, where are you? So for the tarot, we have Ace of Pentacles as the first. Of course, this is the vice versa tarot, so they have two sides to each card. And with this Ace of Pentacles here, I noticed that I always notice there are other people here in the picture as well. And it's like you are standing off to a distance, receiving this gift and allowing other people to think what they might, allowing other people to do as they please, because it's not affecting you in spirit and the gift that spirit wants to continue to give you. Love, abundance, prosperity, whatever it is in the time, spirit is asking you, connect with me directly and cancel out all the outside noise. And in the month of May, you will have many opportunities to take the moment to isolate yourself without guilt, to meditate, to focus on goals, dreams. All of these things is going to be a part of your month. We also have I believe this is the King of Swords, or the King of Wands, excuse me. Yes, we have the King of Wands, but of course, looking at the backside of the vice versa tarot, and I'm just now noticing this ginormous snake that is attached to the tree, and it's like that's a really powerful image, to be sitting at night alone with a creature that is a creature and looks like it could harm you. I feel like you are really stepping into a bold energy in the month of May. You are taking authority over your energy. That's exactly what I was feeling earlier, when I was saying, if it's not energetically aligned, you are having less and less hesitations of cutting that off and cutting those things off to having access to your energy. And that is real King of Wands type energy, where you are looking at all that you have done, all that you have built off of pure raw energy. And you're saying, I need that kind of reciprocating energy around me. Like that's the kind of energy we feed off together. Like I see this person doing their thing, going after their goals, spiritually awakened and aligned, and I want that to bounce off of me and vice versa. So what kind of energy is around you? What are other people focusing on, and what do you feel like you want to focus on without guilt? We also have Knight of Pentacles. I always have to make sure it's a knight and not a page. But the Knight of Pentacles, we are seeing the backside of the card. And this actually is this card strongly represents duality, because the knights are usually very fast paced, very about action, very eager to go, especially Knight of Wands. But with the Knight of Pentacles here, it's a slower type of energy, one where you can actually build upon it. And it's so funny that I'm noticing the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. Of course, the Knight of Pentacles has another one on the other side, but there's just this one thing that you're really giving attention to in the month of May. And it's going to bring a different level of stability for you. One where you can, what am I hearing? One where it's not dependent on anyone else. It's dependent on you, your focus, your attention, your productivity and power is also what I'm hearing. You have the Wheel of Fortune as well. So knowing that everything is circumstantial, everything moves in a cycle, you are going to be, this could either be beginning or ending, but I'm really sensing a beginning and an ending. You know, one thing ends so another can begin. A really huge cycle that is closing and starting in the month of May for you. And I feel like this journey here of knowing who you are, really tapping into your power, is going to prepare you for this new cycle. I keep wanting to say journey. It could be a journey as well with the, anywho. We also have, I think this is the King of Pentacles. So really financial is standing out to me throughout this entire reading. And again, there is a level of guilt that a lot of people hold when it comes to financial freedom, finding their own financial freedom, and financial authority. It's funny that you have two kings out here, so masculine energy strong. You don't have to be a male or identify with that gender at all to hold that quality or trait. It's just a level of not giving a fuck, if I may say so plainly, and really going after what you want, not just in the material world. Even though we have all these pentacles out here, we also have the wands as a spiritual element as well. Again, really tapping into spirit and saying, I'm here, I'm ready to listen and hear what you have for me to work upon, to build upon. And I'm really giving patience to that process, spirit. And that's it. That's, all you really have to say to continuously open up yourself to the divine spiritual wisdom that spirit is trying to send you. Okay. So I'm also going to check some astrological signs for the month of May, just to see what other energy is around for you. And we have Taurus energy, trust, patience, and sensuality. Wow, that sounds like a good month. Okay. So trusting that spirit will deliver you from everything, anything, that spirit will not make this transition hard for you, trusting. And I did also say patience as well with this Knight of Pentacles, I believe, but if not, that's really standing out as well. There's something here that you are building. There's something here that you are creating, and it needs your A, undivided attention, B, your full trust and confidence in the process. And honestly, there's also a level of sensuality that you are really tapping into in the month of May, really feeling yourself, really wanting to be, again, more around yourself, your type of energy, reflective energy. And I think also there may be a time where your finances will allow you, especially with Taurus here, another earthly sign which connects to Pentacles. You are really going to be treating yourself, not spending outrageously, but spending to tap into your more sensual side. Is all I gotta say, okay? And we also have sextile, a combination of tension and flow, potential and rewarding situation. Wow. The month of May is really going to be rewarding for you, not necessarily just financially. Again, the finances are really not the point of it. I think there's an outcome, a certain product that you are inviting into your life and inviting to be built into your life. I think it doesn't come without some patience, some tension in the process of starting and stopping, growing and, and growing, just growing. There's always growing pains in any process. In the month of May, I also see that that's not going to stop you though. It's not going to stop you. It's not going to hinder you. It's going to actually make you more, make the process itself more enjoyable for you. And we also have the second house, physical security, possessions, material values, and self-worth. So definitely all about your second house things that are going on in May. You are going to really be looking at your resources, looking at your security. Again, I really felt like that with this transition here, leaving a job that doesn't offer you the type of security that you need. Yeah, it can offer you financial security sometimes, depending on what your situation is specifically. But is financial security enough? And if you said yes now, I'm sure in the month of May, it will look differently for you. Your answer may be or feel different, where well, hey, she was right. It's not just about the financial. It's about the outcome what comes of me gaining this financial abundance. What comes of it? Like who does it benefit? Who does it help? How am I helping the world? Again, very important questions for you in the month of May, pile number 2. So I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Please, if you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because it would mean the world to me. And to check out our Patreon, where I have a bunch of exclusive content like this video here today and other readings like that I think you may enjoy. And I will see you in another reading. Peace. Hello, pile number 3. You chose this beautiful crystal. I just want to get right into your reading and see the overall energy of your May, the month May for you. So we're going to start off with this overall energy. We have friendship. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. I haven't seen this card in a while, but it is gorgeous. Okay. So in the month of May, of course, this is the energy that we're reading. Friendships are going to be very important to you. And I do want to point out, authentic friendships, of course. I feel like a lot of people will tell me that sometimes they keep certain friends around for certain things. And I've been trying more and more to understand about that. We are all technically energetic batteries, right? So if we let one phone charge and one laptop charge and one such and such charge, there's a lot of different things that are really being attached to your energy, right? If you, I'm trying to find like the right wording for this. If you let everyone have access to you, then that means that everyone has access to you. They have access to your energy. And that can be really draining sometimes, if I can be 100% honest. This is, the first card out, but what I'm picking up is that look deeply into who you call your friends, what they provide for you, what they bring out in you, and vice versa. What do you provide for them? What do you bring out in them? Do you guys harmoniously work together? Is there levels of jealousy or misunderstanding, miscommunication? I think your relationships as a whole is going to be very important to you in the month of May, something that you may put more attention into, more intention into, of course, as well. Let's see what else we have here. For the oracle, we have fertility, watermelon. We have also the Leo symbol here, and I believe this is the element water. So fertility, very interesting that came out next to friendship. There may be, again, some certain relationships that are more fertile than others, and some that just aren't growing a garden that you would necessarily want to be a part of, is how I'm going to also put that. This is sometimes a very sensitive topic for people, because people's bonds, they can be very tight-knit. People can be very sensitive about their friendships, because you really can go through a lot with another person. But that doesn't mean that you can't also outgrow that relationship. I do want to just point it out just because it is here. But with the fertility here, some of you may also be finding some very unexpected news in the month of May if you aren't trying. If you are, then it may be, again, another very fertile month for you. And you can start to begin that process. Again, that's not for everyone, because not everyone is trying to get pregnant. I did just want to point it out. But I feel like also, if there are any projects that you've been working on, or things that you feel as if you've had to put aside because of the addressing with your relationships, your friendships, I think that they are also naturally going to be fertile as well and grow in their own natural time. We also have protection, onion. Okay. Very interesting energy that we have here. We also have Aries energy down here in the corner. Protection against the things that are trying to latch onto your energy is what I'm hearing. We were talking about energy earlier, and I think it's important to point out once again, we also have 9 and 29 twice. With the 29 here, there could also be a cycle that is closing out for you in regards to your relationships, ones that you felt like you needed to protect your energy against. This could be a situation that has already made itself known to you, is what I'm hearing as well, where you know that there are certain people that and not to be dramatic, of course, but there are certain people that you really would like to protect your energy from, because when you go around them, your energy shifts, you become more irritable or tired. People really can have that influence on you, especially if you're very empathic to other people's energy, and how that sometimes can change your own. So again, in the month of May, maybe even wearing more crystals to protect your energy, especially if you still have to be involved with this person or situation. Really doing energy cleansing rituals on your aura with Palo Santo or sage if you are drawn to that. But really putting up your spiritual safeguards will be important for you in the month of May. And we also, ritual. Okay. And then we have 9 and this is 10. So again, a confirmation that a cycle is closing out. incense here, really interesting. Leo here as the sign, and another earth element that it is tied to. That's so interesting. But yeah, so making it a full-on ritual if you really want to, a cleansing ritual, one where you can cut ties, do a burning of, the relationship itself, the name, whatever is symbolic to you most, and finding your freedom from certain situations. Also, if you wanted to draw more people inwardly towards you, more aligned relationships, you could do a ritual for that as well. I'm sure there's all kind of information online about the different types of rituals that you can do to remove energy and to bring in energy. Of course, it is always, recommended that you do as much research on that as possible while also protecting yourself, because you want to make sure that you're using your magic safely, right? And everyone holds magic. Everyone has the possibility of doing this for themselves. So really looking deeper into that may be important for you in the month of May. We also have Forge, Don't Follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. Okay? Yeah. So this is really some strong energy that is coming through for May, because you are done forging, or you're done following is what I meant. You're forging, you're done following. I feel like, again, tying into the friendship with this purple here too, you're intuitively picking up on some signs that you are meant to do great things. You are here to be a leader. You are here to be the leader that you wish that you had. And honestly, your friends feel that same way too. I feel like you're really big within your friend circle or community. Like, people really love to be around your energy. Again, why the protection is so important. And people really like to follow your word on things because they know that it's led them in a really direct and divine direction. But I think you are taking more of this energy on for yourself, realizing that all of the advice or directions that you've given to other people, you actually have wanted it for yourself. You actually probably will be noticing a lot more. Hey, I give really good advice, and I should really take myself up on some of that. May is going to actually bring a lot of that realization to you, even if someone in your friend circle directly tells you, you're such a great leader. I'm so honored to, and not even just leader, you're such a great, thinker, person who puts things together really well. Like, I don't know what I would do if you weren't here, because I didn't even know where to start, type of situation. So you're really forging your own path in the month of May. People are noticing, and the right alignments, the right energetic, connections will be finding you more in the month of May. We also have the Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. And literally that's what I was just talking about. This is your ability, is what I'm hearing. You see the potential in certain things. You know that if you can see it, you can totally make it happen. People don't normally have that ability, don't normally act on it. So when they see you do it, that you can see something and it turns out to be what you thought, or even better than what you could have imagined, people are like, wow, like, can you teach me how to do that? Can you show me how you did that? And I feel like you're going to really be leaning more into that energy. You may have shied away from it previously, but in May, you may be really wanting to step more into that spotlight. Again, with the right friendships, that's very encouraging for you. But with the wrong ones, they will find doubt in your process. They will feed you all these different ideas in your head that don't actually belong to you. Again, pointing out the protection, why it's important. But yes, a fertility of ideas, a fertility of potential is what I'm hearing. You are really growing in the month of May, expanding yourself and finding the right people to share that with. And we also have karmic relationships. I mean, do I need anything else? Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. Okay, so it's here. We see it, we know. And again, I think tarot is here to just confirm the things that you already know. So if you've been feeling some iffy energy, it's for a reason. There's a lot of, purple here hindering, pointing to your intuition. So I feel like you intuitively have really been seeing people for who they are, understanding that sometimes it's just a karmic relationship that we must learn from, work through, and release with love. There's always going to be conflict because people will always think that they know best, or that they know best specifically for you. There's always going to be polarity because literally none of us are exactly the same or exactly alike. We are all unique individuals with our own unique thoughts and processes. So when this comes up for you, because in the month of May it will, you will be able to address it because you will already have felt it and seen it coming. We also have the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. We were talking about your rare gifts, right? And how you've really learned them, or you are learning them, learning to lead with them. And also there's a healing around your inner child here. When it comes to being an adult, we learn how to be an adult from who we watched be adults. So if you see, and I don't know how to, really word this in the best way, but if you see that your parents or your guardians or whoever had certain friendships or certain types of people that they had around them that influenced them either left or right, whatever, however it is, just know that you can heal that. You don't have to be a person who accepts any and all energy. You can decipher who's really here for you, while also being very tender with yourself, because I think we can really be harsh with ourselves if we feel misunderstood or as if we'll never be understood. So again, you will be tapping into some heavy energy in the month of May, as we all are, of course. A lot of it will have to do with your past, what you have accepted up until this point, and what you are now free to release, is what I'm hearing. Let's look deeper into the tarot. We also have the High Priestess, which is exactly the energy that I was picking up on. There's just this intuitive knowledge about you. You are very intuitive, spiritually connected. You know how to listen to the messages from your higher self, to discern them and know them. So when I speak of these karmic relationships making themselves known, again, this is something that you have already felt. This is something that you already have been almost preparing for, meditating on, just really trying to work out, how can I be my true self, show up as my true self in my relationships while holding space for me and this person, but also just me. Just being able to hold space for me is really going to be important for you in May. You may be writing more. Journaling is what I'm hearing as well, to get these thoughts or feelings out. Intuitively writing, just letting your pen fill the page. I think a lot of great ideas may come out of that. To just take note that journaling does leave a more so permanent record that you can come back to, hold on to, and really reflect on, is what I'm hearing as well. Also, if there's something that you wanted to say to someone, writing it down first before even like reaching out, if you plan to do so. Sometimes you can honestly just write it out and save that for yourself. Not everything needs to be known by someone else. You don't, they don't need to know that you've outgrown them necessarily, because I feel like when you pull your energy back in, they can feel that. So just really writing it out for yourself, for the healing of yourself, and affirming that you are doing what is best for you is going to be important as well. We have Seven of Cups here. Very interesting. Cups usually is correlating with emotions. With the Seven of Cups here, it seems as if there's a choice to be made. You have a few different options, of course. I'm going to read it as emotional because it is the cups of emotion. So I feel like you have a really close, tight-knit circle. Not many people get to have access to you, but the ones that do, I feel like have been there for a while and could possibly need some revamping, okay? Closest people to you has to know your true and authentic self. You have to be able to depend on them to know who you actually really are, just as they would depend on you, right? It's a mutual relationship. With the Seven of Cups here, you will be making a choice. You will be making a decision what to do to better benefit you emotionally, how you can move towards greater fulfillment emotionally. And I feel like it won't be a hard decision for you. We also have here the Death card, which is the rebirth card, the card of rebirth. Because you have two major arcana thus far, it's really some big energy, lifelong energy that is shifting here in the month of May. With the Death card, I feel as if people are going to be asking for a second chance. I'm just noticing how they're literally on their knees looking up to the one who collects the souls, the one who comes in and ushers in the rebirth, right? So someone's really going to be looking for a second chance with you in the month of May. Again, it is your decision, it is your choice, but I do see that you aren't really going to be interested. You're actually really excited to expand some more space and to make new connections, divine connections. It'll be to the point where you could be thinking about this person and they message you, or vice versa, and very telepathic communication. I think you're going to be able to really tell a big difference in the relationships that are being, ushered in, and the ones that are, transforming into something new necessarily. Yeah. We also have the Eight of Pentacles here. And that's very interesting. That's very interesting. But as you can notice here, this person is working very hard, very concentrated, very in the zone. But the child there standing to the side looks very upset that this person is giving all of their attention to the work, to the craft. This is the vice versa tarot, so of course it always looks different. This is just this person in their zone, but we then realize there's someone here watching, waiting, expecting something of you, essentially, is what this is through the tarot. And I feel like you're trying to be less in that zone of having someone expecting something from you. This is a child and what is presumably a father, but it could be any relationship where people are seeing you do your thing, seeing you craft, worked hard, really be dedicated and involved. Forging is what I'm hearing. They see all this and they want attention from you. They need attention from you. They are still in this immature state where they themselves can't take care of themselves in any state, form, or whatever. I'm not actually talking about a child because children are here to be taken care of and nourished as they need to be. But I'm talking about an adult, a real friend of yours who may really expect a lot from you. almost to the point where it feels like you're the parent and they're the child. Whatever the situation may be for you, in whatever case, I feel like you are really gonna still just lean into this Eight of Pentacles energy, really give to your creation, to your creative side, and of course, intuitively learning when to take a break, when to rest, and when to be creative is going to be important for you in May as well. Let's see what else we have. We have the Six of Swords. Yeah. Really moving away from what is not suiting you anymore. This is really big energy. I think you had the most tarot cards of all the groups. Really like playing this story out for me and saying, I'm deciding to move away. There is a great transformation and rebirth that happens because of this. My intuition thrives and it grows because I've given more time to it. I've fed it. I'm able to make another conscious and emotional decision for myself, for my greater being, and to really give into my creativity. We also have Nine of Cups, that greater fulfillment that I sensed and felt earlier in the reading. Really going after that. Really going after, what brings you joy. What brings you joy, fulfillment, what doesn't make you question or second guess. And I feel like May is going to feel like a completely different transformative month for you. I felt like I've said that a lot in this reading for everyone, but it's going to feel transformative. It's going to feel new and fresh, and filled with hope and creativity and possibility. I love that for you, group number 3. Let's see what else we have. So I have some astrological cards here just to read the astrology energy that will be around you in the month of May, and what other advice I can give you. We also have Aquarius, originality, philanthropy, and progressive imagining. Wow. Okay. So definitely going along the lines of the rare gifts that we have felt from you in this reading. You could be an Aquarius, have Aquarius placements, or just, really vibe with that energy heavily. Know someone who does have it. But you are an original piece. Okay. Group 3, you are here to express that originality. Also, philanthropy may be something that you are looking more into in May, being more interested in giving back to others. Giving back to others because you have received so much is what I'm hearing. Progressive imaginings. I feel like your visions, your imaginings, your creative ideas are really going to take you far. In the month of May, it's really going to be a part of the thing that feeds your soul, is also what I'm hearing. What else do we have? Oh, fire. It's upside down. Make sure. Okay, so it came upside down, but I'm going to take it upright. We have the fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. Yes. You are feeling very confident in the month of May. You're feeling like you can take on anything, very optimistic, because your environment is feeding that to you. You can see the things around you based off of your decisions that you've made and where it has led, what it has produced, and you are feeling very confident about it. It's really like the more I'm hearing, the more that you do, not necessarily too much, like doing too much or overworking yourself, but the more that you do from a healthy state of mind, the more that you can see things are changing around you, reflecting that hard work that you've been putting in, building your confidence, allowing your passion to let you explore is also what I'm hearing. Being brave about exploring things that may seem different to you, may seem different to everyone around you. Who cares? And let's see what else we have. Leo, self-confidence, loyalty, and creativity. So doubling up on that fire energy here. Again, you could have fire placements heavy within your chart or know someone who is, could be a Leo, know someone who is, or have a lot of Leo placements in your chart, etc., etc. But self-confidence. And so not even just confidence in the process, but confidence in yourself, loyalty to yourself, right? Loyalty to your process, and loyalty to your creativity. We've really been mentioning creativity here a lot. I think it is really going to be a huge point for you in May, and something that's really going to make you feel as if, you know, you're thriving, because you are. Pile number 3, you're doing really well for yourself, and people are going to notice that around you, okay? But you are protected, you are safe. There's nothing really that you need to worry about, and you can be assured and have confidence in that, because intuitively you already know. And for the last one we have here is Uranus, radical change. So, I mean, May is really going to be like a, what is it? A 180 for you. I was going to say 360, but that takes you right back to where you were. So, it's going to be a complete 180, radical change, working heavily with magic and the universe, spirit, your ancestors, your guides, angels, everyone, anyone, whoever you believe in, to make this miraculous change in your life, is what I'm hearing. Cycles ending and cycles beginning, emotional fulfillment, confidence is going to be something that's really standing out to you in May, and it's going to make your life look radically different. Okay, pile number 3. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that it resonated for you. And if it did, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because it would mean the world to me. And if you want to check out our Patreon, I will leave that link down below where you can gain more exclusive content like this one here. I will see you in the next reading. Peace. Hello, pile number 4. You chose this smoky quartz tower. And I'm going to get right into your reading. Let's look at, actually, the overall energy of your month. We have regret. I know that I cannot change the past. Wow. Okay. I do want to mention, you know, everyone's overall energy has been, you know, pretty heavy. So this is not something that you need to be worried about. With regret being such a strong word, I think there's a lot that we can learn in that word in and of itself, and knowing that you cannot change the past. So in May, you may be looking back a little bit, trying to really figure out the past, why you possibly made certain decisions that you did, or why certain things happened to you in general based off of someone else's actions or words is also what I'm hearing, like a certain conversation that you may be replaying in your mind. But in May, the biggest lesson that you are learning is that you cannot change the past. That honestly, the way things are working currently, the only way that it could have been this way is if the things that have happened still happened. So one thing that you're learning is that if you regret the past, then that means that you also regret your present, that you regret everything that has happened up until this point, that has led you here today. And I don't think that you feel that way. I think there's some certain aspects that you could regret, but other ones that you're really actually happy about. Like you're happy how your life is turning out. You just wish that there were certain avenues or ways that you didn't have to take. And in May, all of that will be consequential. It won't matter nearly as much because, again, we are looking at the overarching outcome and what is most important to us. We also have grounding. Potato is the root element, the earth element here. And we also have Virgo as the zodiac. We also have the moon and the sun here, and some miniature tarot cards. Isn't that so cute? I think that's my first time ever noticing that. Okay, so In May, grounding is going to be huge for you. Very important. Especially here with the red and the orange that I'm getting here, your root and your sacral chakra are going to need attention. I'm trying to see what else we have here. With grounding, there's only so much that you can talk about because your grounding process is for you. So whether that is through meditation, also doing any kind of ritual work like affirming yourself and affirming what it feels like to be so grounded and so whole, without needing or wanting for anything else. I think that's definitely a great grounding technique. You don't have to do it that way. It's however you find that you ground yourself best. In May, it will be very important for you. We also have positivity. Marigold is the flower. This is the air element. We have a dream catcher here. The sun, once again. That is all that is standing out to me. And the Leo symbol up here in the corner. So, what is going to be very important for you to hold on to is your positivity. Your positive outlook on the situation will be most important because that is where change can happen. You can't really evolve from these feelings of regret without a certain positive outlook. I think people have really made positivity to look almost weak, kind of. Like if you're positive, then you're weak because the world is so tough and so hard and there's nothing to be positive about. And it's like, no, I'm approaching this life differently. I'm experiencing this life differently with no regrets. And what I'm going to hold dearest and closest to me is my positivity. You may, have a very positive spirit normally. People around you may point that out frequently, how positive you always are. And some people say it as a great thing, as a good thing, because they need more of that in their lives. But other people, not necessarily. Some people, again, may think that it's naive or lash out with their harshness just because they believe that it will make you stronger, is what I'm hearing. Again, that could be a part of the conversation that you are regretting. You're probably regretting showing that positive side to yourself to the wrong people. But grounding yourself, again, is standing out to me as most important. Like grounding yourself in this positivity is what I'm hearing. We also have abundance and the grape. Wow. So May is definitely going to be an abundant time for you. We have 5 here and 5 there. Also, May is the 5th month, so 555 may be standing out to you as well. But you are living in this abundant energy. Again, this abundant positive energy in the month of May. Someone or something may come around and remind you as to why you don't deserve this or why you need to work harder or should have worked harder for this abundance and this positivity. But don't allow someone to fill you or something, someone or something, to fill you with regret because it's not worth it. We have to kind of eliminate people from the process, especially if they can't revel in this positivity with you. And it's for everyone else's circumstance. We don't know everything that someone else is going through or why it's that much harder for them to hold on to their own positivity. And it's not necessarily for us to learn either, because I think, again, that affects us in any minor or major way. It still affects us. So in May, you are going to try to be more focused on your own happiness. I think, and again, the tarot cards are really standing out to me. So you could be working with tarot more in order to really zone in and give yourself these messages that you need of none of that matters. Focus on this. None of that is going to really help you focus on this. Look at this. Look at your abundance. Look at all this happy time that you have to fill this space with, instead of whatever else is trying to pop up in that moment, is what I'm hearing. And we also have luck line here. So we have 5 and 5 and 4 and 4. So you could be seeing those numbers a lot again, but you're going to feel very lucky in May. It's really actually going to be a really good time for you. And I honestly just want to tell you to enjoy it. That's what the grounding here is for, to really settle in and enjoy the luck and abundance and positivity that is oozing out of this reading. Again, we started off with such heavy energy. And hopefully you weren't worried about it whatsoever, because look at what's surrounding you. Look at what is waiting for you. I think May is really going to surprise you, is what I'm hearing as well, as to how good it gets. I'm also seeing Capricorn, Sagittarius. What else am I seeing? These are both water elements, the air element, the earth element. What else am I seeing? The moon, once again. Okay. And there's this like bracelet or tassel thing here. That's interesting. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see. Let's see what else we have, actually. We have deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. Okay. Yeah. A very healing time for you. Pile number 4. Very healing time. I think, again, with all that you have come through, there's some deep emotional things that have impacted your life. I'm also hearing that has possibly held you back, like your emotional state of regret and doubt has held you back. But in May, again, you have done a phenomenal job of releasing all that you could at that moment. And it's going to continue to bring you closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and more into this abundant energy. I keep hearing, when I say abundance, it's in everything. Materially, emotionally is definitely what I'm hearing as well. Just an emotional abundance of happiness, and people to really revel in that with. We also have weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. And that's definitely what I was feeling at the beginning of this reading. This regret that you feel, I keep saying that word, but it could be really any emotion that's tied to that. Regret it can be tied to, lack mindset and really not understanding your destiny, not giving your destiny full props for what it's, for what it really is. Whatever has been placed upon you. And I think I mentioned it as well, like how this can start at childhood, but I'm not really sure. These readings are starting to blur, you guys. But weight of the world, it's not yours. It's not yours to carry. The weight of the relationships around you, be that friends and family, or at your job, your career, it's not for you to carry. You only can carry what's yours, right? So letting it go, placing boundaries, that is going to help really with this easing of your emotional state, and understanding that what I thought was my fault, wasn't, but had very little to do with me, right? We're really going to be placing things into perspective. That's probably a part of this abundant energy as well, as you're going to be able to have a different perspective on what's really yours and what's not. And in that energy, this is where the grounding really comes in, because it's like, this isn't mine. I'm going to ground in what is my energy, what is my what is mine to carry, that is, mistakes, whatever it is that's for you to carry. I'm going to ground in that energy and heal that energy like a deep, deep cellular healing. And I'm going to release the rest. And that's really going to make space for you, is what I'm hearing with this abundance and luck at the bottom here. It's really going to make space for the sweetness and the goodness to come in. We also have Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. Okay, so trust has been coming out a lot for the month of May for the collective, because there's a level of trust that still needs to be developed. It will be in May, of course, ever evolving, ever growing. Your knowledge that you are protected. There are celestial beings that are here protecting you, guiding you every step of the way, and who's providing for you, where this abundance and this luck comes from. And really grounding in that energy, actually speaking and communicating with your spiritual team, whoever that may be for you, will really help affirm what you already know, that there's things that needs to be let go of, there's emotional healing that needs to be taken care of, and that there's regrets to be released. We also have Water Your Garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. A really big restful moment for you in May is what I'm hearing. Let me make sure the cards are straight. So even when we feel the most productive, or as if we should be more productive, that could also be a part of the regret, feeling as if you have to do more in order to receive all of the abundant energy that is coming towards you. And that is false. You can simply be as you are, who you are. You don't have to be more. You don't have to be everything in order to receive all that Spirit has for you to experience. Body care, really taking care of your body in the month of May is important to you. You could be working on your summer body, is what I'm hearing, which doesn't really matter. I tell people all the time, summer will get the body that I'm giving it. Okay, I saw that somewhere and I haven't let it go since, because I like my body and I'm going to revel in that energy. But I think you're going to be taking care of your body just for pure nourishment, not necessarily for looks, which of course inevitably happens when you're focusing on your health. Your looks do tend to change, but really just being interested in nourishing your body as holistically as possible. So let us see what the tarot has to say. We do have, and this is the vice versa tarot, by the way, we do have the Devil here. It is in reverse, and it is the back side of that, actually. So we have the Devil here, and with the Devil, I think you are really, really confronting the things that have tried to take hold over your process. I can't really feel yet whether this is emotional or mental, even almost spiritual, that you feel as if there's just been an attack on your energy where you've had to just defend yourself, either from yourself, your own mind, or others' thoughts and ideas and expectations. But in the month of May, there are things that you are overcoming with this Devil card in reverse. The things that you thought that were going to get you, that were going to be stuck on you and with you, because you experienced it, and there's no going back now. You know that I cannot change the past. I cannot change the past. I'm releasing the expectation that if I just be this person, or do this amount of labor, this amount of whatever it is, that I'm going to change the past and be a completely different person. That's not how life works. We evolve and we move on, right? You are evolving. You are in the middle of your evolving process. And And at this point, it almost feels like there's nothing that can get to you. You feel very confident in knowing, this healing that is occurring, it is really going to be transformational for me. We also have Six of Cups. And with the Six of Cups and the vice versa tarot, I always make it a point to point out this person here staring at these two people here, living their own life, right? So with the vice versa tarot and the Six of Cups, it's almost forewarning you to be careful of those that are watching you with envy. Mind you, there's nothing that you have to do, okay? Spirit's already aware and taking care. But Spirit also wants you to be aware of what you are taking on energetically from other people, just simply watching you, being near you, close to you, trying to benefit from your energy is also what I'm hearing. Whatever has happened in the past with this other person is what I'm hearing. It doesn't have to be a single specific person, but with these people, whatever has happened, know that you have done the best that you can while also focusing on your happiness. Okay. You can't regret choosing your own happiness. It doesn't build anything for you. It just hinders you from growing, experiencing, loving, and evolving. Okay. We also have Five of Swords in reverse. You are done. You are done with the misunderstandings, with the fighting, with the arguing. You're done. You're done being placed in this position where either you have to put someone here or you are being put here by someone else. All of the animosity, all of that it's not for you in the month of May. You are just literally doing your own thing, letting this abundance and this love pour in, honey. Okay. And really leaning into your divine protection. No matter what someone is trying to bring to you, you have been in your deep healing process, and you know how to hold yourself accountable. You know how to acknowledge the things that you've done and really say, you know what, either this is not the first time that you've talked about it or it is, but just saying, I know what has happened. We're not continuing that anymore. I'm moving on. I'm growing. And if you owe someone a true apology, of course, be that as it may. But if it's not that, you don't have to worry about other people's opinions. Okay? No matter what anyone tells you, you're only here to live your life and experience the things here for you. So lean more into that in the month of May and watch and see what unfolds. We also have Two of Swords, but of course we're looking at the back of it. And this is a very, actually no, this is the right view. No, it's not. This is the back. It's a very serene picture that's here. It's just you sitting with your thoughts, your two thoughts, the polarity of your mind, and really being in tune, especially with the full moon here, with your emotions. In May, I think you're going to be spending more intimate time with yourself, learning your thought process more. Really, and I also want to point it out, just from right here, we have a 6, a 5, and a 2. The situation that you're worried about is de-escalating, is what I'm hearing. But here, sitting with your thoughts, your emotions, really sitting with yourself in general, and any moments of isolation, but also with spirit, and communicating with spirit your needs. Allowing spirit to do the things that you cannot do for yourself, to cut off, what needs to be cut off if you cannot do it for yourself, and to just sit back and let spirit work its divine magic. We also have the moon here, which is so interesting. It's so interesting because there's 2 full moons here, and that's really like signifying to me that you're really tapping into your emotional state. I remember earlier I couldn't say if it was mental or emotional. It's a bit of mental, but more so emotional, and kind of what you have allowed in the past maybe that's where the regret plays a part, where you know that you've allowed certain things to happen, and it has affected you emotionally, but that's okay. Again, the deep healing that you have coming for you in May will really allow you to open up to that, right? To what you've allowed, what you've witnessed and not spoken up about, whatever it may be for you, and forgive, release and forgive. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. We have the Knight of Cups, and we also have the Empress as the final tarot cards for you. So, again, the Knight of Cups, usually it's seen as like a romance or a romantic card, but that's not how I'm reading it. Almost as if it's like self-romantic. I feel like you are moving very quickly in the month of May towards your emotional fulfillment, your nurturing of self. Yes, especially with Water Your Garden here in between these two cards, Knight of Cups and the Empress. The Empress is a known and natural healer, especially for herself, especially when it comes to rest. If you've been indecisive of when to rest and when to go, always lean into the first answer that you hear, which is probably resting. You may feel like you've been resting too much, but that's not necessarily true. It is really honestly what your body needs. So listening to that is very important. But moving again towards what gives you the most emotional fulfillment, which piques your emotional curiosity. I'm getting really strong Cancer energy here as well. I don't know if I pointed that out earlier in the other cards, but Cancer, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius as well. And we actually have some zodiac energy to read. Just give me 1 second to get to that. But I want to make sure I'm not, missing anything here. Also, I'm hearing buy yourself some flowers. So if that's something that you have been thinking about wanting to do, or randomly came up with the idea minutes before seeing this video, however it is, I think buying yourself some flowers, really treating yourself, and saying, I deserve some beauty today in my life, not just looking at myself, but around me. I think leaning into that energy as well, like really treating yourself like the royalty that you are, is going to make you feel better about the decisions that you are being very discerning on. So let's see what else we have for the astrological energy. We have Pluto transform. So definitely correlating to the death card in the tarot, Pluto is connected to Scorpio, and it's all about death and rebirth or transformation. So in the month of May, something is being completely transformed, either your mindset, a situation, or all of the above. Something is being transformed, maybe starting from the inside out, where you transform your thoughts, your actions, your mind, your soul, your heart, whatever it is that needs, healing. And then in turn, your environment completely shifts. Completely. Let's see what else. We have the third house, early learning, childhood relations, the rational mind, and communication. Okay, so did we mention childhood here? I can't remember pile number 4, but that is something that is popping up here. Early learning is, for me, the things that you've learned in your childhood, how, your foundation originally was built, placed upon, and how you interact as an adult because of that is what I'm hearing. So that could be something that's also transforming completely, is childhood lessons or childhood thoughts and ideas that don't fit or correlate with you anymore. And also, what could be transforming is family relationships. That can probably be a difficult playing field to navigate when it comes to family. But within your rational mind, you are learning that things cannot stay the same. You cannot change the past, but things also cannot stay the same if they are not meant to. And spirit will work its magic on that behalf. And we also have, wow, Scorpio, intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. So double up on the Scorpio energy for sure. You could be a Scorpio, know a Scorpio, or have strong Scorpio placements in your natal chart. There is a level of unconsciousness that will be exposed to you in May. Again, with the skull and the butterfly, that may be something that's really standing out to you. Again, with another full moon, a lot of symbolism in this reading, pile number 4. But there is an intensity to your emotions, to your soul patterns that you are sensing, that you are evolving through, is what I'm hearing, that is being exposed to you. There's a lot of rebirth just in these 2 cards here. That's really standing out to me. Again, making it seem as if your May is going to look completely different than the other 4 months of the year have, which is very interesting. You know, I'd love to hear more about that. If it turns out to be the case for you, pile number 4. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing else that I'm feeling here in the energy. Really big energy for your May is what I'm gonna just end it with. Like really big, transformative, positive, abundant, lucky, beautiful, blessing energy. I'm really excited for you. I hope that this reading resonated for you, pile number 4. And if it did, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because it would mean the world to me. And check out my Patreon if you want more exclusive access to content like the reading that we had here today. I will see you in another reading. Peace.